Welcome back, Geordies. It's Adam from Two for Joy. I want to talk about Barcelona, and there's loads of chat from Talk Sport, from Sky Sports, from the media, from Newcastle fan channels, from YouTubers. And basically, what I want to talk about is how this system, this style of football that we play, this is inherent, this is built into Newcastle, and why we expected to go to Barcelona and get a result. And while it was promising, and we all, we've all seen it, PSG when we beat them at home, or big performances against top teams, this side needs refreshing. This side doesn't have the capability to do that. And this side has been flawed by the system, by the management style, by everything that inherently is Eddie Howe. And what I want to touch on, or what I want to go through, is look at the squad. Look at the games we've played in the Premier League, in the Champions League, the teams we've lost to. I mean, we've lost to Liverpool twice, we've lost to Arsenal twice, we lost to Brighton away, we've lost to West Ham away, we've lost to Brentford away, we've lost to Manchester United away, we've lost to Sunderland away, we've lost to Everton at home. Realistically, we're playing against a side that is the elite pedigree, the top tier. And why we thought we could go against a side like this with the squad that we have just makes no sense. And this inherently comes down to the way we spend money, the way the club's been structured, the belief in Eddie Howe, this inherent keep going, we believe in Eddie we trust. It has to come to an end. Every manager has their expiry date and their expiry of their ability to take this club any further. And I see things on TalkSport like Simon Jordan saying this squad wouldn't be where it was, or this squad wouldn't be where it is now without Eddie Howe. And that's 100% true. If you believe this squad is in a good place. Personally, I don't. I believe we've got far too many players that are past their sell-by date, players that we should have moved on. We inherently have a bad philosophy around selling players, and people will say, well, you sold Alex Isak for 135 million. We still have Nick Pope, we still have Kieran Trippier, we still have Dan Burn, we still have Emil Kraft, we still have Joe Willock, we still have Jacob Murphy. We've signed players like Anthony Elanga, who are misfiring for 55 million quid. We've signed Johan Wissa at 29 for 50 million pound. There is a net spend on our front line just in Voltemada, Wissa and Elanga of 174 million pound. There are teams in the Premier League that are sat above us, like Brentford, whose entire squad didn't cost 174 million pound. And this whole belief system, when I hear Eddie Howe come out in a post-match press conference and say the team came in flat at half-time after conceding a penalty, and he's not managing to rally those players, playing in what he calls the biggest game of Newcastle's history, inherently makes me think that he's lost his way. These players don't believe in this system. And it's the thing that's causing us problems. This system that we stick to so rigidly, that players must be athletes, they have to run for 90 minutes, but they can't. They're all knackered, they're all fucked at 60, 70 minutes. And we always concede late goals. We always start sluggish after half time. We always have the same issues in this same system all the time. Set pieces. We concede. We make the most set-piece chances in the Premier League. We have more corners and more free kicks than any other team in the Premier League this season. And yet, we probably score the least amount of goals from corners and free kicks. It's terrible. To be honest, it's terrible. We've got a set-piece coach we've brought in that's supposed to be revolutionary, and, you know, they were waiting on him. They've been trying to get him for 2 years, and they've got him in finally, and we concede more goals from set pieces than probably open play. It's absolutely ridiculous. And any system that we come up against that plays a number 10, somebody in the role of a number 10, who plays between the lines of a midfield and a defence, we're screwed. We struggle with. We can't block that space. We can't shut them down. And every time we lose a game like this, Eddie Howe will come out and say, well, I saw positives. I could see this. I could see that. The problem is not that, as everybody will say, we're playing Barcelona. Barcelona's elite pedigree. Elite, world-class pedigree. Eight world-class players. But Brentford don't have that. West Ham don't have that. Everton don't have that. You know, there's teams that are below us in the league that have more technically gifted players than we do, because we want athletes. And athletes are the problem. The system is the problem. The style is the problem. And I look at this and I'm like, if I was to say, who are the best players, the most valuable players that Newcastle definitely need to keep, no matter what, for us to progress, the players I want us to keep, I'd name 3. I'd name Bruno, Captain Bruno. I'd name Lewis Hall. And I'd name Lewis Miley. Now, which one of them outpaces Anthony Elanga, Anthony Gordon, Tino Livramento, Willa Sula? Which one of them is stronger than Sandro Tonali, Joel Linton, Dan Burn, Sven Botman, Malik Chow? None of them. But they're our best players because they make things happen. They're technically gifted. They can carry the ball. They have vision. They're able to progress Newcastle in a way that other players can't. And it's even like Sandro Tonali being linked. He's been linked everywhere at the moment. So it's, you know, it's Arsenal, it's Manchester United, it's Juventus. And we're like, oh, we want to keep Sandro. He's on a 3-year contract. Realistically, I don't think Sandro Tonali, as well as he's played the last few weeks, I don't think technically gifted is his remit. I think realistic, he plays safe passes very well. He moves the ball very well, but he also misses a lot of passes. He's very sloppy. And he's good defensive cover. In that midfield, he's a very strong DM for 60 minutes of a game. But sure enough, he will make mistakes, like any player. But is he that elite world-class tier? No, I don't believe so. He could be, but I don't believe he is. And most of the time, I don't believe he is because this style of football that's around him doesn't suit his skill set. The same as the football doesn't suit Nick Voltmarder's skill set. You know, we've got 2 shining stars in this team recently, before Bruno got injured, Bruno and Lewis Hall. And they're making things happen for the athletes around them. And there has to be a balance. There has to be, realistically, 3, 4 athletes. And then technical players throughout the team. And when I look at this and I say, oh, going into Barcelona and this, that and the other, Barcelona's squad, every player on that pitch last night would get in our first team. Maybe not João Cancelo, but only because Lewis Hall is fucking amazing. But every other player would get in Newcastle's team. And there's no shame in losing to Barcelona. There's the shame of not having the system that could not concede 7 goals. There's the shame of trying to play a certain way, and when it doesn't work, not having a backup plan, not having a change, something to counter the way that Barcelona play, something to stretch them and make them be on the back foot and make like for like subs and expect it to fucking work. Yeah, there's shame in that. And the same thing, keeping players. I mean, realistically, we go into this weekend against Sunderland, and if we don't win that derby, I would fully want Eddie Howe to be sacked the day after. I think this season, and this is taken away from the Barcelona game, because I think the Champions League it's been a successful tournament. But a successful tournament is no good without producing on the stage you're expected to produce on. So realistically, the Champions League means nothing when you're shit in the Premier League. It means nothing when you don't carry European football the following season. That's not progression. What we're trying to do is progress as a club. That's not progression. You'll actually put us 2 years back when bigger teams come calling who can offer much bigger salaries. And even like Bruno being linked away, I would say Bruno being linked away to Real Madrid, I would completely understand if Bruno decided to leave because they were offering bigger money and they're on the world stage and they can do things that we can't. You know, they're going to offer him trophies, success, progression. Realistically, how could you deny him? If somebody offered to pay you double your salary to do the same job and say you'll be rewarded better, you'll get more accolades, you'll get more progression, you'll be a bigger star, you'll be renowned, you'd take it. Of course you would. And those sorts of things are where we're getting to this season. I struggle to see where David Hopkinson and Ross Wilson and the higher ups at Newcastle can stand by this style or this management. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that I really think we need to address. I personally don't think the end goal of this season, finishing outside of Europe, I don't see how Eddie Howe keeps his job. And realistically, I think we have to be looking at other managers. We have to be looking and saying, what is the backup plan for Newcastle? Because inherently, the problem here is we've built our entire structure since the new ownership around one man. And if that one man walked away today, what would we do? You know, realistically, where would we be? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. Realistically, do you think this is it's time to call it? It's time to say, actually, this isn't working for us. We're putting ourselves in a position where the club we're not progressing. We're going to end up going backwards. We're getting players or a team that has a shelf life now. We've got players that are in the last 2 years of their contract, like Tino Livramento, or we've got players who are past the age limit, players that are coming to the age limit. Even Bruno, Joel Linton, Sandro Tonali, they're getting into their later 20s, touching on 30. How do you refresh this squad? I mean, realistically, most teams are going to do that over 2 or 3 seasons. We're going to get to a point where we're going to need to do almost 10 players in a transfer window, and I don't think we have the capabilities to do that. Like I say, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and hopefully, guys, I will see you